Hello and welcome to another upload of my project. I haven't uploaded in quite a while, so I just wanted to record a video that's going to be completely unedited and unscripted. I just wanted to talk about this project a little bit, go over what I've been doing and what's going to be done next, just to kind of keep you guys in the loop for those of you who are curious of what's going on. A couple things I want to mention is Minecraft constantly updating. This is really slowing me down with the city. This is on a server. I use plugins that help me do a lot of this building, including World Edit. Whenever Minecraft updates, I have to wait for server updates and then plugin updates, which can take sometimes months, it seems like, before I can update the server and continue building. That is if I want to build on the updated version of Minecraft, which I usually do, especially if they add new blocks. Speaking of which, they added a new block called the smooth stone slab, which has been a big problem. It replaced a lot of blocks in the city with this smooth stone block. I've been fixing most of it. A lot of it was on the roads and a handful of buildings, parking garages. You can see it down here. So I've been running around the city like a maniac. That was a very unnecessary noise. I've been running around the city changing all these blocks back to what they originally were, which was this stone slab block. Another thing I've been changing was the texture for the lampposts. They used to be nether brick fences. I had a stainless steel sort of texture for that. I use this texture pack in survival as well, and I want something universal that works on this server and survival. So I switched it back to a red texture and it looks awful here. So I've been running around replacing all those with these diorite walls for the light poles and on quite a few buildings. So been running around the city doing all these updates and changes, changing all these slab blocks. I got a lot more to do over here in Hart Plaza. As for major structures that I've been sort of working on, First National Building is the name of this nightmare of a building. I'll have to throw in a couple pictures at the end of this video or something. This is the next major building I'm doing. For those of you who know Detroit, this building is just, excuse my language, it's fucked up. The architect was on drugs when he designed this building. It is so bizarre, the shape of this building. I literally have 4 pages of graph paper printed out and I have to draw out this building. There are many angles to it and it is shaped unlike anything else. It is not an easy build whatsoever. So I want to be accurate with it. I want it to come out good, so it's taken me quite some time. Speaking of time, I might not have another upload on this for a while, with a couple games that are coming out soon, including the new Modern Warfare. I'm probably going to be sunken into that for a while, so I might not be working on this all that much. I think that's pretty much it that I wanted to mention about the city over here. I did want to show you guys what I got going on across the river as well. I'm going to have to stop recording and render all of that for you. But another thing I wanted to mention was someone had mentioned how he thought buildings were too spaced out apart from each other and the proportions were not correct. I want to say that all the buildings themselves are very, very accurate. Um, they are pretty much to scale for the most part. However, when I record videos, one thing that is very strange with Minecraft is the perspective of your point of view. So the Renaissance Center on my right, on the far right of the screen, it looks very large and close to me right now. But once I move it to the center of my screen, it gets much smaller. It's weird to notice it. It definitely messes with the point of view of the city when I'm moving around it sometimes. But another thing is, it is partially true with the spacing. These roads, I cannot determine their exact size and width. With buildings, it is very easy. With Google Street View, I'm able to go down and count, how many windows are on the buildings, and it's very easy to determine the size of the building. Roads, I don't have anything to count. It's really a guessing game. And there are many instances where I have uploaded a video on a major building and had to go back and change it afterwards. Maybe not the building, but perhaps the placement of it. One building that I did change, which I shouldn't have, was the Chase building here. In fact, the windows are still kind of messed up over here. The original upload of that building, that was correct. I ended up cutting it probably 10 blocks to make it shorter in length, because it didn't make sense at the time when I was using it to compare sizing for this tower here. Forgive the pronunciation, the Penobscot, I'm gonna call it. The sizing didn't make sense, so I had to shorten this tower to make this one work, aside the Ford building. And when I do a very large building like this, what I do first is I start at the opposite end of the perimeter. I started at the Ford building here, and I looked at this building over here, lined it up with these guys, and I start going around the block, and I just keep going all the way around until I meet to where the Penobscot building would end up, just to make sure all the sizing is good and accurate. I made a very big mistake here. This white building here, I must have gotten distracted. I was even doing a live stream at the time when I was building this. I completely missed 10 blocks of this building. I missed a complete window here. So this wall was way over here, and everything was way too short. I think it was by 10 blocks exactly. So I had to space it out. I had to move a couple buildings over slightly. I think I moved the Ford building over a block, possibly two, and then I spaced the Penobscot Tower away from the Ford building a couple blocks as well, because I realized that I had to gap this building out. I forgot a big detail somehow. I must have gotten distracted. So I fixed that. I spaced it out anyways. I got these towers where they're meant to be. I moved the Chase Tower back out, and I discovered this while working on this nightmare of a building when I was determining its size. And the first national building, I was spacing out the windows, counting the windows and walls, and before it starts angling off at an angle here, I determined the placement of this flat wall and where it ends before the angle, and it was pretty much almost in line with the Chase building. Mind you, this is before I fixed all of that, so I was standing here looking at it, and the Chase building ended way back here, and that's when I discovered that problem. So whenever that happens, whether it's a mistake that I missed on a building detail or the width of a road, it creates a very big domino effect. and I have to go back and change blocks and blocks of the city in order to correct it. It's probably one of the one of the biggest times that I had to fix that was that mistake there. Another time was way back before I even had any of these buildings over here. It was these towers here and the parking garage down there. This parking garage, for whatever reason, I had way out here, like to where Hart Plaza is. It was way too long. I don't know what the hell I was doing. So I had to shorten that. That was a long time ago. Everything else ever since has been very accurate. And once all the buildings start erecting around each other and you stand back and look at them all, it works. You know, it might not be 100% accurate. This is Minecraft. You gotta bear with me. But once it's all together here, it is very, I believe, very accurate. I've had many people from Detroit tell me it's very accurate. Spacing between buildings, it's tough, you know, but once they start populating all these buildings around, once I throw in details afterwards, it works. It fits. That's pretty much all I have to say about the city for now. I am working on that nightmare of a building over there. I got graph paper that I'm trying to draw it out on. It's a headache, but I'll get through it, just like I did with Hart Plaza here. This wasn't easy, not being a windows and wall sort of building that I can count. In order to do the Hart Plaza, I had to build 150 Jefferson Tower over here. I had to go all the way over here and build this building here to determine the size of Hart Plaza, and it's just a huge game of building perimeters and sizing down everything using buildings. And it all started with the Renaissance Center. That's what I started with originally. Speaking of which, not sure if I've had an upload since, but this has been updated. The building height has been increased in Minecraft. This used to be much shorter, so I was able to give it its proper height. I've kind of updated the elevators here. They're kind of glitchy right now with the shaders on. In fact, I still have to fix a couple. I tried using ice in the elevators just to give it a better visual from the outside, but it didn't turn out as I hoped. So I fixed the front side. The back side here facing the city, it's not so great. But anyways, I updated the shape of the elevators and the height of the buildings overall, so those are much more accurate. But I think that's just about everything I wanted to cover in the city. Lots of details and blocks that I have to change all around, and I'm working on that nightmare over there. But Call of Duty's coming out soon. I'm going to be distracted with that, so I might not have an upload in a while. Just a heads up. I'm going to stop this recording, and I'm going to render the town I'm building across the river. I call it Yukon Valley. Way back in the day when this was kind of a public server, it was called Tahoeville. That's why this says DT to TV. I gotta change that to YV for Yukon Valley. But I'm gonna go ahead and render this so you guys can enjoy this landscaping that I have created. Alright, I have rendered most of Yukon Valley now. Using a lot of RAM here in order to have this type of rendering. So some of the towers have disappeared in Detroit over there. But here we go. How do I make this menu go away? There we go. So this whole area is kind of inspired by, it's kind of like where I live in New Hampshire. Very woodland-like, mountainous. Pine trees, covered bridges, lakes, all that sort of stuff. Kind of place where people from the city might come to check out foliage, that sort of thing. Oh wow, that's bright. not completely done. You know, this was a flat world. I did a lot of this landscaping myself, with world edit, of course. If I go on the other side of these mountains, they're just spheres. I spawned in these giant spheres, and then I smoothed them out. I know it's kind of hard to tell with the sun here. These shaders, man, they're amazing. Look at the fog. Nice beauty shot here. Is this real life or Minecraft? Just wait till I get ray tracing. Anyways, got all these paths and roads here, different plots of land where I'm gonna have houses. This really just a free building kind of space. You know, if other friends join the server, they can build a house over here if they want. Got all sorts of lakes and rivers running through here. A few covered bridges connecting these roads or paths. And then kind of in the middle here I have this big dip. This is the valley. It's gonna be a Hollywood, like a mini Hollywood sort of theme. You know, I have some large buildings here, little skyscrapers. If anyone has ever played Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, you might know what this building is. There's this one round stilt penthouse, stilt house, whatever you want to call it in the game, and that's what this that's where the inspiration came from for this guy. There's going to be a lot of stilt houses around here. We got this damn dam over here, and a couple houses. Girlfriend made this one, cute little woodland cabin. And then I got this other house over here that I made. So I just plow myself into a tree. I haven't done the interior yet, but no, it's a nice fitting kind of house for the area. But yeah, this is kind of a side project I've been working on. Detroit in the background there. There is more to this. Not as much detail though. On the other side here, it's going to be kind of flatter land, more farmland style kind of area. It's going to be much flatter. I'll have a couple other towns over here, as well as some larger properties for very large houses, including one that I've been building, which I'm going to show you right now. I'm going to turn off shaders so this can kind of smooth out for you. Wow, it's a whole new game now. Much smoother though. This is a house I've been working on for a very long time. Not as long as Detroit, obviously, but it's just a little house I've been working on here. A few stories. I think I finished the first floor. I've been working on the second floor now. And this is where the river ends. I gotta expand the river. I shut the shaders off, so I lost everything that I rendered. That's depressing. But I'll show you a sneak peek of the inside. I'm not gonna give a full tour yet. I'm not sure if you've ever seen a reflective floor in Minecraft. Some more unnecessary ambience noise here. Let's turn that down a bit. Some of you might know how I did this. This is ice that I'm standing on. Everything that is in sight from the ground here, all these surrounding rooms and halls, I completely replicated upside down. So I just went through the floor here. Under the floor, I know what you're thinking. I have way too much time on my hands, and I wish that were true. I work 60 plus hours a week. I don't have enough time. But it's pretty fucking cool, you gotta admit. the time I do have, I do, I make it count. But yeah, that's my little house I'm working on. Very, very cool. That'll have its own video once it's completed. Same goes for the rest of this area, I guess, Yukon Valley. This will be the Denali Flats. I'm just naming this off from Chevy trucks, GMC trucks, because that's what I'm into. I'm into the GM products. I got a Suburban, you know, General Motors Corporation. They own the Renaissance Center. That's my thing. But that's pretty much everything. I just kind of wanted to show you guys stuff you probably haven't seen before. Just wanted to share it with you. Thought you might think it's kind of cool. So enjoy. That's all I have for this unscripted mess of a video. Hope you enjoyed. And yeah, if I don't have an upload for a few months, I'm not dead. I'm not abandoning the project here. It's always gonna be it's gonna be worked on. Don't worry. But yeah, thanks, and come again. This building here is what the hell I was talking about. The first national building in Detroit. Let's see if there's a sky picture on here. Give you an idea of what the hell I'm dealing with. The guy that designed this building, if he isn't dead, his time's coming. What the fuck, dude?